Two questions about this. One, I think I asked you at the time also, but chat में भूल गया हूँ. Does the library contain slang words? गालियाँ हैं उसमें. बहुत अहम हिस्सा of communication. But वैसे
Uh,
sincerely also.
Not a lot of slang. That's actually one of the weaknesses of the data set. So the way we built the data set is that we were careful. Okay, we could scrape like Twitter scrape कर लेते ना, Urdu सब Twitter पे scrape कर लेते. But Urdu की इतनी गलतियां आम हैं, even in like good published texts, कि वो सारी गलतियां propagate हो जाती हैं. So the
Yeah.
core was let's start somewhere where we at least think the grammar is correct.
Right.
कि spelling कुछ हद तक ठीक होगी, grammar कुछ हद तक ठीक होगी, but typing की गलतियां कि भी space गलत डाला हुआ है वो हम ठीक कर सकते हैं.
Yeah.
So primarily the places we got from were like 2 scholarly journals and 1 news website was where our data set is built from, which means that there's not that much slang. But it also means that when you're doing conversational text, like somebody texted me the other day, कि भाभी का लफ्ज जो है वो autocorrect हो रहा है, which it really shouldn't because it's a common word. So those sorts of things we need to go fix. But the reason for that was primarily that starting from a more scholarly standpoint gives us a better, more reliable autocorrect system, and then we can start putting in the more common slang words. So no, if you swear, it will not know it automatically, but if you teach it, it will remember, but won't tell anyone.
Right.
So
it is
in the future, it is a good friend.
There is a gali patch incoming in the future.
Gali patch.
GP.
Matnsaz gali patch. $3 only.
Acha. And the other thing was Android. When is that? Is that somewhere on the roadmap? Yeah.
No date to announce. Obviously, I know that a lot of most Urdu users are on Android. Most Urdu users, at least in this country, are on Android. I am a one-person development shop, so I can start with one platform at a time. The reasons to start at iOS were primarily that it has the worst keyboard, but also because as a market, it tends to be much more open to newer apps. So Android is on my radar. I don't know.
Would it not have been?
What or when?
I thought you would also have chosen iOS because there are some standardization measures across devices, Apple ecosystem.
There are, but there's so many of them actually that is not really as much of a selling point anymore. So for me, like what I have to do on Apple devices, that for each device, I need to make sure that it is like handcrafted to fit to that device. Because that is the expectation of the keyboard, right? If you're using an iPhone 13, then your spacebar on Matnsaz should be the exact place that the spacebar and the backspace keys are on your regular keyboard. So I go into every device and I make sure that that is correct. On Android, because there is an underlying acceptance that it will be, there's so many device sizes. There is the way that you would design the keyboard would be much more programmatic, where you would actually like look at the size of the screen and then lay those keys out, where I don't do that on iOS because that would lead to some imperfections that make it harder to use. So I don't know if it would have been easier or not. But I think, yeah, definitely it's something I'm aware of and thinking about.
Okay.